I was in the ring in the room that night, and I'm watching this fight, and he went from landing 1 shot. Then the next round he lands 2 shots. Then he lands 4 shots. Then he lands 6 shots. Then he's like, all right. I'm like, oh, wow.
Freak.
Yeah, I don't like to use freak because you might offend him or some people. I don't want to offend anybody.
Dude, a damn giant. Am I wrong when we saw him in Central California? Big boy. Go ahead.
Bang, bang, bang.
Half steps back.
Yeah,
chop,
I mean,
chop,
he looked very boom, boom, walking down. It's there. But so was Tim. I was there live.
He doesn't.
Boom, and he was like, but if he had,
I just can't. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I can't deal with it anymore.
I was there live.
Like, I'm worn down. I can't do it anymore.
Boom, and bang. Yo, Tim's back in this fight. This guy's a dog. Boom, 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 boom. Hits him with another one.
And then Fundora came back.
And then Fundora came back.
It's a tough division, man. Yeah.
I was there live.
Do what you need to do. You're the taller guy. Use your jab, your range. It's almost like Fundora woke up and went, I'm damn near 7 feet tall. No one can get past me if you use range and volume. That looked like the strategy, Chris.
Yeah, I think it was a couple things. I'm a big Tim Tzyu fan. I liked his whole trajectory. He's the kind of guy who wants to fight everybody. He's an absolute warrior. But I think he's a little shop-worn already. And it's not just that, because Fundora, as you said, actually used his height for once. I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. I think Tim is a little shop-worn from the rough schedule that he's had recently. And also Fundora's getting better. And Fundora's starting to realize, listen, I am 6 feet tall, 6'7". I have this crazy long reach.
6 feet tall? How dare you?
Yeah,
he is 6'7", right?
But he goes out there and he's snapping this jab. And the first fight, he used the jab, but he used it kind of slovenly. He's just kind of putting it out there just because he had a guy in front of him that was basically blind with blood in his eyes. This time it was different. It was deceptive. It was snappy. He was using it to hide the left hand. If he fights like this, he's a problem for absolutely everybody in a very, very deep division. But he still gets hit. He still likes to fight. He's still an exciting fighter. But man, if he can keep that jab going for more than 5 or 6 rounds, how do you beat him?
I thought it was, he showed he's an ever-improving fighter. Showed things that I didn't expect from him. And it really credit to him because you can see that he's put in the work in the gym. Some guys put in the work in the gym, but it's just redundant work. They're just, conditioning themselves. They're good fighters and they're just in their prime. So they're just continuing to work hard. And some guys are putting in the intelligent work in the gym and making the subtle changes to their style. Freddie Rhodes.
Manila Ice.
I thought,
I
thought that was, something that you saw. Okay, that's putting in work. That's an added dimension to the fighter. Reminded me a little bit of maybe a poor man's Diego Corrales, and he's a tall guy who likes to fight on the inside and will battle with you, and can outshoot you in a shootout. And sometimes he goes down like he did with Mendoza, and sometimes you go down like in a loop,
like everybody else.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the Fundora you got accustomed to, and that was a world-class Fundora. His defense was very poor. Didn't always make the smartest decisions, but it made him a fun fighter to watch. This Fundora, you showed up and you're like, this guy's been putting some work in the gym, man. This guy has been putting not just the work in the gym. Like I said, everybody puts in the work in the gym, but he's been putting the intelligent work in the gym. And then, of course, you add to the fact that this guy's got a Harvard shirt on and he's going to Harvard and he's got this scholarship going. And I'm like, this guy's got a little bit of a Clark Kent thing going. I kind of like it. I kind of like
he's got the glasses
the punching collegiate.
Yeah.
I was like, he's going to steal your shine, champ.
I didn't go to Harvard. I got a couple of degrees, but I didn't go to Harvard.
I think Tim Tzyu is going to become a cautionary tale in that you got to be careful the way you move a fighter who's got world-class potential, because you can easily ruin somebody if you move him in the wrong direction. I think Tim Tzyu probably isn't going to be the same anymore, and only he knows that more than anything else. What I'm saying is just an opinion. What everybody else is just saying isn't just an opinion. You as a fighter and as a human being and as a man have the power the mentality to change that or not. But it is, from the outside looking in, it is difficult to see Tim Tzyu being the same anymore.
Since you're on it, it came at the end of a round in which Tim Tzyu looked better than he had before. He was landing big punches we thought might be the start of a comeback. That doesn't help the perception as you're talking about.
A very tough fight with Fundora. Very difficult fight. Then you go into Murtazaliev, which is a guy who was a boogeyman who nobody really was dealing with, and Tzyu, said, what, I'll take on Murtazaliev and try to grab this title, and gets absolutely blown out by a guy who you realize is more of a boogeyman than anybody was thinking about at 154.
Like, it's real. He is the it's not fake.
So, and it was like you could see the shock on Tzyu's face when he was getting hit from this guy. Joey Spencer is, Joey Spencer does nothing for you. He's one of those guys where you wonder how he even got here. I just, I don't know. They're just there. After that, you got this fight, and Fundora shows up you got a mentality where you've seen Fundora before. You kind of know what you're going to deal with. But his jab wasn't really that good in the first fight. I mean, he used it, but the thing about a jab is if you don't know how to use it the correct way, it actually works against you. These guys start to counter and come over the
Especially a guy that tall.
Yeah.
So
Guys counter and come over the top of it. So your jab has to be in unison with your ability to change the distance on your feet. Not change, but adjust the distance with your feet. If you're stepping back, you can use a different kind of jab. If you're stepping forward, it's a different kind of jab. You're changing range with it. You're changing height with it. You're feinting with it. And your feet have to adjust all that. Level changes, distance changes, and all that. Just using your jab works against you because a good fighter is going to come over the top of it and start making you pay for it. You're better off not using it. This fight, he's stepping back using it. He's stepping in using it. He's not overcommitting to any of the offense. He's shooting little tight left hands to where he's not falling in with it and giving up his height. Little tight little shots. Turning knuckles over. If you look at the knockdown in round 1, very key point that was not made on the broadcast. They both land left hooks. Tzyu lands from the right-handed stance. Fundora lands from the southpaw stance and an arcing left hand. Both land the left. The difference in why Tzyu goes down and Fundora doesn't feel it is because Tzyu doesn't turn the knuckles over on his hook. It's a slap hook. Fundora, if you notice, has the knuckles turned over on his turning hook, and that's why Tzyu goes down. Little technical adjustments, little fundamental superiority things that like in that exchange of hooks that made the difference. Because if Tzyu turns the knuckles over on his hook, maybe that's a double knockdown.
I don't think so because he landed really good ones later on and did nothing to Fundora.
I'm telling you, he didn't turn a lot of those over, man. So,
later on
the TV, you saw. I'm telling you, so look at the replays.
Well, I was there live.
He doesn't turn. Yeah. He did not turn in the same way. I'll admit, like I wasn't a guy that turned a lot of punches over myself. You know what I mean? So it's not. I can tell you the flaw because it didn't work for me too in a lot of ways. Everybody tells you turn an knuckle over, you'll get more steam on it. You lose about a split second. So sometimes you kind of you have to make that decision. Do I want to lose that split second? Is something could come back in return? So maybe I'll just slap it and not have to worry about the return. But if you take the time to learn it right and do it right, see that was a subtle thing. They both land at the same time. Tzyu goes down because Fundora turned the knuckle over.
With Fundora, it almost, to me, looks like at this point where he was just fighting before because he was such a anatomical gift.
Freak.
Yeah, I don't like to use freak because you might offend him or some people. I don't want to offend anybody, but he's
tall for the weight class.
Freak of nature.
Freak of nature.
He has anatomical gifts.
Yes.
Which makes him
genetic freak.
Literally, pun intended, head and shoulders above the competition. He can just go out there and be like, you know what, I can just fight these guys and I'm durable enough and I train hard. Now it's like, okay, actually, I can actually use these gifts better. They have legendary sparring sessions in their backyard. You know about that, right?
Yes.
They actually train in their backyard. They have a ring set up. They literally have housing for sparring partners to come up to the country and train over there. And I've talked to some guys who train there. The sparring's insane. These guys.
Where do they live? It's in the country?
They're somewhere in California.
Yeah, somewhere in California, out in the States.
What's the name of it? I know.
Near where Fresno, like where we were and type of thing?
It's, no.
Like Calabasas?
It'll come, something like that. It'll come to me. But anyway, so I think the damage he took in the first fight with the nose, they're like, all right, we're going to make adjustments now. We don't need to be taking this damage. We saw a piece of it come back in this fight because he did stand his ground and get cracked a lot, and he did actually hurt his nose again. But I think these guys are putting in the smart work, and they're starting to realize that, those anatomical gifts aren't just about beating guys up. You can actually box and be smart, take less damage, get rid of these guys in a classy fashion, and still be exciting. Listen, watching that guy fight is fun. Seeing someone who's 6'7" at 154 pounds, bang, 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 and drop those hard,
loose, snappy punches. Yeah, it was cool.
He looked very calm this fight. Boom, boom, walking down. Because when you can stand in the center of the ring and hit the guy in his own corner, I mean, that's something to see. He's the guy to beat. He's the guy to beat because
Murtazaliev, bro. Murtazaliev beats.
See this?
Okay, but it's not.
Make the hand sign. Make the hand sign. Make the hand.
I was going to say that.
And Bohachuk too. Bohachuk.
I was going to say this when
it's a tough division, man. Yeah.
I was going to say this when you were talking about
and Virgil
Murtazaliev.
Oh yeah, that guy, Virgil Ortiz, who's a damn giant. Yeah. Am I wrong when we saw him in Central California? Big boy. Go ahead.
Isn't Bohachuk taller than Virgil when they
Yes.
Bohachuk's a monster too.
Bohachuk's I was going to say this when you were talking, Paulie, is the Murtazaliev fight with Tim Tzyu. A year from now, we might look at that and be like, Tim, Murtazaliev just did to everybody else what he did to Tim. He might do the same thing to Fundora. He's that kind of guy. We just don't know enough yet. I can't put him at number one yet because we just don't know enough. Yes, he had a breakout against Tzyu, but let's
look at the other side of it. Tim Tzyu shot. I mean, it's hard. In the public eye, it is very hard to get over no mas. It's tough.
For me, it's not really the no mas. I just felt like he's just worn down. Like he's like, I'm worn down. I can't do it anymore. You know, like because it wasn't just that fight. If it was just that fight, it's like, okay, maybe you quit. It's like you got to be willing to stick it out. But it's a composite number of these kind of fights.
He's 1-3 in his last 4. Yeah.
It's just like I just can't. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I can't deal with it anymore. I won't go as far as to say he's totally done, but he probably needs a run of like 4 or 5 fights back in Australia. Your Joey Spencers of the world. Your what's that guy that Thurman just knocked out?
Brock.
Yeah, exactly.
Your Brocks of the world. You know, like you need.
What's his name? That guy? Yeah.
You need a few of those where you see how you feel beating them. You work on some things. And then maybe you take a chance. Maybe in the meantime, the division kind of starts to take shape. Some guys leave. It opens up some opportunities. You know, maybe you get a fight with Xander Zayas or something if he's still around. If somebody hasn't knocked him off by then, because at this weight class, anybody can knock anybody off anyway. Who knows? But I think you're going to have to take a year or two. It's going to take a year or two. And you got to enjoy the process of taking a step back. And you can only do that if you really love what you're doing. And at this age, sometimes you don't.
30 ain't young, dude, in boxing.
But I'm not saying it can't be done. Because I don't know the hunger Tim Tzyu has. I want to make one more point though.
Please.
When Tzyu was making that run late in the fight, when he finally said, "Okay, I had enough," but he had been landing some good shots. The thing about Fundora is, I think Tzyu realized like, okay, Fundora's slipping back into what he usually does in fights. The problem is, it's what he usually does, and he usually wins doing that too. So it's like, okay, this guy was boxing me, but now I'm cracking him and I'm starting to land. Usually you'd be like, I'm getting to him. With Fundora, it's like, I'm getting to him, but now it's just going to be the kind of fight he usually fights, which is still a difficult fight, and I don't have it in me anymore.
This is what I saw. I was in the ring in the room that night, and I'm watching this fight. And listen, I was rooting for Tim. I wanted Tim to win the fight. I really liked him. Not that I don't like Fundora. I really like Fundora as well. But in that first, I thought maybe Tim was carrying some of the scars from a Dazalia fight. Also, Fundora was looking really good, and I was like, this is just a different guy.
Half steps back.
Yeah,
chop,
he looked very good in those first 4 rounds, and I'm like, all right, this is just a different guy. I'm like, tough night for Tzyu. You know, he was getting rocked every round. Yeah. I was so proud of him because he was getting hurt every round, but he was finding ways to get to him more and more. And every round, you know, he went from landing 1 shot. Then the next round he lands 2 shots. Then he lands 4 shots. Then he lands 6 shots. Then he's like, all right. I'm like, oh, wow. I forgot what round it was. I think it was like 5 or 6 were like.
Because of the Mendoza knockout, you're like,
oh,
man,
it's there. But so was Tim. And Tim was timing these really good check hooks with the left. He was landing these awesome right hands. He busts Fundora's nose right at the end of one of the rounds. Blood starts pouring out of his nose. He's got blood over his face. He starts to look like the first fight again. I'm like, yo, Tim's back in this fight. This guy's a dog. Boom, 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 boom. And then that last round, like you said, Jimmy, that was like the best round of the fight for him.
The end of the round.
He landed so many good, like crushing shots. And I felt like every time he hit him, he was like, this is the one. Boom! And he was like looking at Fundora to not be there anymore. He's like, shit, okay. Boom! Hits him with another one.
And then Fundora came back.
And then Fundora came back because I was literally... So Tim's corner was right in front of me, and I watched him walk...
Okay, we get it. You were in the fucking house.
And it wasn't defeated like he got beaten out of it. It got defeated with like, it doesn't matter what I hit this guy with, he's still here.
That's the realization that, okay, you're hitting Fundora, but this is the kind of fight Fundora's used to anyway. Fundora, you saw the first few rounds, is the Fundora who's been working on things. He's improved. But if he has to... He can still be a dog.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's always been. He's been that pit bull type of fighter. So you got to him, but you're still going to have to deal with him. And I don't know if you want to deal with him.
And also with a 6-round lead with a knockdown. So, I mean, I got to knock this guy out, and clearly I can't.
I don't think he was even thinking that, though. And I went to Lance Pugmire, who was sitting right next to me, and I go, I literally say, Tim gets stopped next round. And he goes, really? And I go, absolutely. And then they called it, and I was like, see?
Yeah.
He was either not going to make it out of the round. I was like, he's done.
He went kamikaze.
As soon as he walked back, I go, that was his last hurrah.
Yeah.
He's done next round.
Yeah.
Some of the best analysis I've ever heard.
I knew he was
of the
done
famous Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield ear-biting incident.
Quit in the corner.
Teddy Atlas said, "It's not a coincidence. He beat him. He bit his ear after landing big punches because he landed those punches and went, I cannot get this guy out of here. I got to get out some other way." So a lot of times a fighter is defeated by, oh man, he's doing
after landing his best shot.
He knows he can't get this guy out of here.
Chavez,
and that's we've seen that in other times too. It's not, it's the quitting, it's the quiet quitting we call it. You know, some guys they're more classy about it. Tzyu is just like, that's it, I'm done,
Yeah.
And some guys do the Tyson bite or the Brandon Rios, the Anthony Peterson against Brandon Rios when you just start throwing low blows.
Yeah.
Or Andrew Galata against Riddick Bowe, just start throwing low blows. Or Victor Ortiz.
Sonny Liston's shoulder.
Yeah, or Victor Ortiz, you jump in with a headbutt like you're a Billy Goat and hoping that the whole world sees it, so it looks so bad that you
Sonny
get disqualified
Liston's
against
shoulder.
Mayweather.
Oh.
You do all these
that's
things.
just
and
an
some guys
excuse, I
just,
think.
Hey, bro, I'm done.
He went out with class.
With Victor, I think because he had already quit, he needed to figure out a different way. So
Yeah.
I think it's with Mayweather because with Maidana, they crushed him. So he's like, all right, I got to figure out a different way.
I got a personal anecdote. When I fought Spence, so I had a knee injury going into the fight, but I
there you go. That's the shoulder,
underestimated
basically.
Spence. I didn't. I
Sonny
knew he's
Liston's
as good as
shoulder.
he is and was. He hadn't fought anybody yet.
I love that you can say that. I underestimated
I
Errol Spence.
I was one of the first major. I was the first world champion he fought. So it was like I was thinking. I was like,
You're not a major world champion. Like this guy, bro. This guy thinks he's something else. Like we've crowned him Oscar De La Hoya Jr. when he was about to fight Manny Pacquiao after like winning against Ruslan Provatnikov in a boxing match. You know what I mean? That made him somehow like Ricardo Lopez level elite boxer. Reality is Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez, had a tune-up against face first type of fighter in Brett Rios, went to decision. So there were doubts out there, you know what I mean? Put him against a boxer, maybe he can get clipped, set up for something clean, you know? Chris Algieri, like he is the prototype what you would expect to be like a tall guy. Talked him into thinking that he's like an elite boxing world champion. You know what I mean? From the outside, technician, filigrano. No, him and Paulie calling each other champ got him thinking he's a Hall of Famer. It's bad. It's not good.
First world champion he fought. So it was like I was thinking I'm gonna out hustle this guy, and I had a knee injury, but I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be able to deal with him. He's not used to a slick guy like me. I'm gonna be able to make it.
You're not.
In the first round, I moved a lot, but the knee was just killing me, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna stand my ground and have to, old man him, savvy him a little bit. And that second round, I remember I hit him with a straight right hand that hit his chest. I just missed his chin, and I felt like I punched a brick wall. Boom, nothing moved, and I was like, shit, I need my legs.
It's gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be a long night. So I stood and fought with him, and I remember it was like, I came back to the corner and I told John David, and I was like, my knee is. He goes, well, you just gotta stand and fight him. And I was like, all right, we just gotta stand and fight him. Wow, bad idea. So if I'm standing and fight him.
So you think maybe you should body slam
why
him and
is this
get out of the fight that way?
like, why are we
last
fucking
round.
revisiting Chris' career every episode? You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like Paulie Malignaggi, you gotta sit there and pretend. Like, let's talk about Jimmy Smith's fucking Hall of Fame dossier. You know what I mean? Like, let's diminish our real world champion in Paulie Malignaggi 2-time. Like, he gets that fucking filigrano boxer label for me, you know? He made it out there like no physical advantages, no hands, and was boxing people. Surviving with Miguel Cotto. You think Chris Algieri would survive with Miguel Cotto? Come on now. He struggled with Provodnikov. John Molina outboxed Provodnikov, guys.
You got a good high crotch, I've heard.
Yeah, I got a. He was too strong anyway. But so we're in there, and like it was the round when I got stopped, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna bite down my mouthpiece and swing, and I hit him with a really good body shot, boom, and he hits me left hand, bang, and I went down. I was just like, and I'm sitting there, and Benji Esteve is counting, and I'm like trying to get up, and my knee is all locked up, and I'm just like, fuck, and I was just like,
I guess you
that's
quit.
one way to get out of the fight too. You just go for it, go out on your shield.
Well, sometimes
That's a nice spin,
in the corner.
Wasn't he trying to like somehow like give us his like version of what it feels like to find an excuse to get out of a fight you're ill-equipped for, you know? It ended up with just patting himself on the back for being a warrior. Go out in your shield. These boxers are something else. I mean, I'm not in that position to like pat myself on the back, so I won't do it. Should I sit here and like give myself credit for like when I got beaten up in a street fight maybe? Well, that didn't happen to me, so I must be the greatest of all time.
I say one more round, I
I
remember actually Rudy Hernandez with his brother, rest in peace, Gennaro Hernandez, the final round when they went for it against Mayweather, when Mayweather won his first world championship. If you watch that fight, because I used to watch that fight a lot to study it, the penultimate round, Rudy is saying one more round. And I remember Larry Merchant, Larry didn't know nothing about boxing. He was just a great personality. But he was trying to figure out why they were saying one more round, because it was only like round 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you men's a genius is because they're going to go for one last round and then they're not gonna go for it anymore. Obviously,
he's getting tuned up. Yeah,
and that was what they did. They went for it in that last round, and Mayweather tuned them up in the like it was the 8th round, and that was it. They stopped in the corner.
All right, with the tune-up,
sometimes
fucker Mayweather.
you give it that.
I mean, like, I was sitting there studying it. Like, he somehow made, like, what masterpiece did you paint inspired by that? You know. All I can say is Genaro Hernandez and his brother Rudy. Like, watch that fight with Azuma Nelson. Tell me, like, you don't, like, that's not a, like, I don't know, something. Like, because I watched Genaro Hernandez against Jimmy Garcia, rest in peace. And Hernandez is dirty, bro. And he has, like, a way of forcing the dirt out of his opponent. Granted, Garcia was also a dirty fighter. But, like, you don't notice it when a guy is boxing. On the outside and shit, he can make a meal out of shit, you know what I mean? And the referee and the public might even be on his side. Because I think naturally, like, we want to see the clean boxer get out unharmed, you know? Anyway, but then against Azuma Nelson, I think he got clocked on his Adam's apple. It might have been, like, slightly after the bell or, like, on the break. But these motherfuckers tried their best to get Azuma disqualified in that fight, man. Like, anyway, rest in peace to all these motherfuckers. And shout out to Azuma.
One last go. Whatever
hurrah.
happens, and then I got nothing left.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not a bad. If you're outgunned, it's not a bad idea where you're like, all right, let me just go all out for it, you know, and see what I can do.
Hit the F it button.
Yeah, and then whatever. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Because if I don't go for it, I'm just gonna take a slow, debilitating beating anyway.
And credit to Paulie. In his last fight against Sam Eggington, he actually did go for it. I think he was kind of slowing down and attempted to get Eggington out of there with a big combination. It really was the right hand. Like, something that we can't. Yeah. Think of, like, a second time that happened like that, you know? I remember, I think he rocked Juan Diaz with an uppercut or something. But, like, that right hand he hit Sam Eggington with, man, that rocked his world. You rock my world. And you wouldn't think that of Paulie, you know, to have that actually in him. But unfortunately, Eggington has a decent chin and couldn't get the guy out of there.
All right, so
that's what I was thinking in the Spence fight. I'm either going to sit here and cover up and just get beat up, or I can go out swinging. At least I can you know, listen, the last shot he cracked me with, I hit him, he hit me harder, I went down, he fucking drilled me with the left hand. But I was like, I'd rather go out like that. I'd rather go out on the shield.
Yeah, and that's what I think Tzyu did.
Could you hear what was going on in the round? I haven't watched it back yet because I was there live.
They were speaking in Russian, by the way.
Oh.
If you understand Russian, in the comment section, tell us what was going on.
They used to invest in translators back in the day. And now they don't even do that anymore.
I was in the ring, actually.
Whatever it was in Russian, it was Tzyu.
It was no mas. We all speak that.
Right. It was no mas. We all understand that. The future of Tzyu. What could it possibly be? Sebastian Fundora looking Harvard and looking very, very bright at 154.
The Harvard bar.
It becomes whenever Paulie says something, Chris Algieri has to say something. Like, he has an awful influence on this guy's personality. I don't remember him being, I don't know, just in your face. Like, Chris Algieri was kind of playing the backseat a little bit more, it felt like. But yeah, he was making a big deal out of him having some type of dietary degree. I don't know, sports science. He's a cook. He cooks for Daniel Jacobs in his free time. Or actually that's his job. That's his main occupation.
Well, the Harvard bar.
The good one.
Yeah, the Harvard bar. There's a Harvard bar. The equations on the wall. Well, he's a smart guy and a great fighter.
Do you like apples? Because I got a number.
See?
How you like them apples?
Trying to get
That's
in there.
Sebastian Fundora. As he gets his next fight, we'll make news here. We'll talk about it right here on Boxingscene today. Tune in. Find out why millions are watching.
Fundora's still
Paulie on his
How you
chair.
like them apples?
Good Paulie. Is it chili? You chili?